Hello everyone, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. That is our small pantry, and as promised yesterday, I'm going to share with you how I organize it. But before doing that, let's first play a bit of music, shall we? Because it's just too quiet here and a cup of hot tea sounds like a good idea too. Now, back to the pantry. The topmost shelf is, hate to admit this, but it's quite high for me, so it only made sense to use that to store items that we only use occasionally, like that picnic bag and this lunch bag that we now use to hold cold canned drinks during countryside outings. Which, of course, rarely happens in winter. Here on the other side, just up against the wall and chillin' like a villain, is our sandwich maker. Rewell and our son Louie won't have trouble taking that out, so I always ask them if I needed something from this section when either of them is around. And because we often reach for this food steamer, I'm placing it right at the front. On the next shelf, I'm using these two beautifully handmade baskets with linen linings for storage. The smaller one has our noodle stocks. What can I say? We love our noodles, and we love them hot and spicy. The hotter and spicier, the better. I can tell someone didn't put back one of the packets the right way. Well, I'm not going to name names, but I can give you a hint. He's the chef in the house, and he also left one of the bags open. I quickly went out and took a peg from our laundry to clip it close. Inside the other basket are baking and pasta supplies and open bags of muesli and Milo for refills once the canisters are empty. There's also half a gallon of pancake powder and a box of brownies at this side. I made sure the labels are big and clear to avoid mix-ups. The next department doesn't have a proper name. I don't know how to call it. It houses a bit of everything, mostly the ones we reached for in a daily or almost daily basis. Let me show you instead and you see for yourself. So, what do you think? Shall we call this shelf A the powder room, B the powder section, or C the power powder, as all of them are in powder form? While we think that over, let's move on to the shelf below. On this three-tiered spice rack are small candy jars that I use to store our spices. I bought 4 of them for $3. I know, a total steal. I've been intending to buy a fancier one though, but it's not really practical, and my husband, who uses it more often than I do, didn't quite approve. Can't blame him. No regrets though, as our one turned out just perfect for us. A lovely colleague from work printed these embossed labels for me, very old school, which I quite liked. We also kept our canned goods in the same shelf just to take advantage of the remaining space. Venice, my daughter, and Rewell, my husband, did the grocery the other day to keep them well stocked while we're away, and I'm certain one of them just dumped these down here with no rhyme nor reason. At least they're on the right shelf. So I'm just doing a little bit of reshuffling while I'm here. Wow, that took a while. Because of the remaining extra space at the front, I thought it would be perfect to put our onions, garlic, and potatoes in flat containers so we can still easily reach for the goods at the back while making use of the front space. Although the spices, particularly the fresh garlic and onions, don't smell, they don't as long as the skin are intact. I'm still quite relieved that there is a separate door for the bottom cabinet, because this is where I hide all our lunch boxes, our takeaway containers, and water bottles, and of course I don't really want them to smell. This bigger basket, similar to the ones above, keeps them all nice and tidy, and setting them upright makes it easy for us to scan and spot which one to take precisely without everything else falling apart. The white shelf on the right was just the correct size, length, and color to hold the ceramic food servers on top and rolls of baking paper, foil, and wax wraps at the bottom. Rice. If you were wondering where we keep our kilos of rice, well, this is the place. Fish needed refilling. We already bought like 20 kilograms of that, so it goes into that container. At the back are just pot handles or... The basket behind accommodates our oven gloves and mitts, while the front one secures our shopping tote and gift bags, labels, organic purse strings, and some pouches of seeds from a friend for a future micro garden. Let me show you what's inside this one. Inside here are seeds from a friend. They have a beautiful garden in lettuce, kale, beetroot, pumpkin, celery. This one is runner bean, peas, onion, bok choy. I'm so curious about the seeds of onion one, so let's check what's inside, how it looks like. Oh, they're very tiny. I don't want to spill it, so let's see. Yeah. They're so tiny. I wonder how I could plant that one. So that's gonna be our next project as soon as we come back from our holiday. But for now, let me just put it in here. Keep it safe and dry. So I'm using this wooden peg just to secure the lid. Yeah. So it's just our extra lunch bag. Okay. Perfect place for everything. So I think that's about it. That covers everything. Oops. Oh yeah, there's another one in there. Let me show you. So on the other side of the kitchen, above the counter, are extra cabinets for our seasoning and condiments. These smaller versions of Lazy Susan came in handy in creating a clutter-free zone in this tiny space. The vision I was actually aiming for. And below that cabinet is our kitchen counter, which is another favorite spot of mine. These knives are from the Salad Master. Plastic tray down at the bottom for our, for example, for soap, and the sponge right here. But because I have used another one, which is that, this is the update, by the way, of our moisturizing cream, sanitizing foam. I did manage to put label on that, but it's not the same as the other two, but it's okay. I will sort that out as soon as I come back. For now, going back in here, so that's supposed to be our dish soap container or holder, but I'm not going to use that. Instead, I am using this to store our chopping boards. Oh, sorry. Chopping board. So it's very perfect. I like it. It's quite stable and it allows the bottom edge to dry easily and not develop molds, which almost happened to the smaller board and the bigger one. I would have loved to use the back space of this St. Caddy to store the kitchen towel, as it was the perfect dimensions for it. But because this side will be right next to the wall, access is going to be a huge issue, especially for Rewell. So it's staying right at the front instead, along with the knives, NutriBullet, and our kitchen utensils. I am using this food jar to hold them together. It looked like a plant pot at first, but I thought I found a prettier use for it. So there you go, that's our kitchen counter. So that's our small pantry. Thank you for joining me for another episode of my house to home journey. I hope you enjoyed and maybe found some little inspirations. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you on the next video. Ta-ta!